It was 1943 when armies around the world were fighting with each other. At that time, India was under the British Raj, and the Prime Minister of England was Winston Churchill. He was the same man who had killed at least 3 million Indians to feed his armies. Was this Holocaust less than Hitler's policies of annihilation? Then, why was the Western world always considered the Holocaust to be history's biggest massacre? I accept that atrocities can't be compared. Then how is it justified that atrocities have happened only against Jews? Friends, Hitler has always been remembered for the Holocaust, and he should be praised. But at the same time, the atrocities that they had committed during the British rule in India, and nobody is talking about the same heart-wrenching tortures. And following this, we will discuss the Bengal hunger in 1943. This hunger was not a simple hunger crisis. There was hunger in India in the late 1800s. But why was the hunger of 1943 not natural in India? Adolf Hitler's atrocities on Jews, massacres and killings are called the Holocaust. The global media, which has made this issue a global concern, has consistently ignored this atrocities incident in India. According to the report, 30 lakh people died in this famine. The British Prime Minister Winston Churchill was responsible for this death. The Indian people had to suffer this mass destruction because of the non-Indian policies of Winston Churchill. Many pieces of research on this destruction have also come to the fore, and many thousands of films and research reports have also come out. Hundreds of reports and movies are received, but Bengal is declared a natural disaster and appointed as such. For Western countries, Churchill is seen as someone who fought against Nazism and protected democracy. But for India, Churchill is the person who directly caused the death of 3 million innocent people. We hear a lot that the British did many great things for India, like building railways, coastal infrastructure, and whatnot. I would say we are living in the imaginative world, praising the invaders and colonizers, so that we are refusing to admit the cruelties that happened in this land. Here we are uncovering what kind of racist and cruel person Winston Churchill was to India. The year was 1943. The entire world was fighting with each other, and India was under British colonization. The Prime Minister of Britain was Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, and the people of Bengal were dying on the streets due to hunger. Guess the number. 3 million people, that is 30 lakh people, died of starvation. Where you go, roads, farms and everywhere are full of dead bodies being eaten by dogs and vultures. So many people died that no one had the strength to perform the last rites. The price of food items skyrocketed, particularly rice. The average cost of rice was 2 rupees, but in 1943 it reached 40, which was unthinkable for ordinary people. People from villages started migrating to towns and cities for food, begging on the streets. These were the same people who used to do agriculture back in their villages, now on the streets begging for food, not for money but for food. Usually the boiled rice water would be thrown out in Bengali households. So these people went door to door during lunchtime, begging for that boiled rice water, crying and saying Panama, which means mother, give us that boiled water, because they knew nobody had enough rice to give someone else. But what caused the food shortage? Not just a shortage, there was no food at all for the people. Where did all the food supplies go? In 1942, the Japanese captured Burma from the hands of the British. So the British thought they might invade Bengal next. They seized and destroyed everything in Bengal that could help the Japanese march further, including food stocks. They took all the food supplies in Bengal because they feared the Japanese might invade. Yasmin Khan, a historian at Oxford University, describes the denial policy that was implemented, fearing the Japanese invasion. The idea was that things would be razed to the ground, including crops and goods that could be used for the transportation of crops, so that when the Japanese came, they wouldn't have resources to expand their invasion. The impact of the denial policy on the famine is well evidenced. Grains from Bengal were exported to Europe to feed the soldiers of World War II. The critical thing to note is there were insufficient food supply. The food supplies from Bengal were exported as a backup for the British Army. Multiple ships loaded wheat from Australia while anchoring in Kolkata at the same time when people were dying of hunger, but Churchill ordered the vessel to continue sailing to Europe without unloading anything from the boat. British officers in India wrote multiple letters to Churchill explaining the need for food supplies in Bengal. However, Churchill refused and turned down every request because it might affect their stockpiles in the UK, and also because the ships were being used in the wars. And he thought it would be better to divert the ships to India. During a government discussion about famine relief, the Secretary of State for India, Lew Ameri, stated that Churchill said any aid sent to India would be insufficient. They stated that Churchill said any aid sent to India would be insufficient because Indians were breeding like rabbits. The Great Bengal Famine, where more than 3 million people died on the streets starving, could have been easily prevented. But one man's racism cost the lives of more than 3 million innocent people. Yes, Churchill was highly racist and xenophobic. He said about Indians, they are beastly people with a beastly religion. The famine was their own fault for breeding like rabbits. See what he commented on Indians getting independence. Power will go into the hands of rascals and freebooters, not a bottle of water. A loaf of bread shall escape the taxation. Only the air will be free, and the blood of these hungry millions will be on the head of Italy. In 1937, he told the Palestine Royal Commission, I do not admit, for instance, that a great wrong has been done to the Red Indians of America or the black people of Australia. I do not admit that a wrong has been done to these people by the fact that a stronger race, a higher grade race, a more worldly wise race, to put it that way, has come in and take their place. Even his doctor, Lord Moran, said, Winston thinks only of the color of their skin. Bengali actress Sumitra Chatterjee, who was 8 years old when the Bengal famine happened, stated that everyone looked like a skeleton with just skin over their frames. She further said people would drive pitifully, asking for the liquid from the cooking rice, because they knew nobody had any rice to give them. Anyone who has heard that cry will never forget it. There are tears in my eyes now when I am speaking about it. I can't check my emotions. Hitler is seen as the cruelest person in the history of humanity. So why not Winston Churchill being remembered for the killing of Jews? Then why is Winston Churchill not being recognized for the killing of Indians? Don't the lives of Indian people matter at all? The world is repeatedly talking about the killing of Jews. They are writing about it and making movies about it. Then why are they not talking about the innocent lives? 3 million lives lost in Bengal.